You are watching 7 Action News this morning on TV 20 Detroit.
The whiskey will be flowing at this year's Whiskey Business event in Royal Oak. Coming up, a spirits specialist joins us live with the details and, more importantly, a whiskey recipe. Well, coming up, we are getting ready for the weekend, getting started early with the organizers from Whiskey Business. It's an event happening tomorrow in Royal Oak. After the break, we've got everything you need to know to have the time of your life this weekend. I'm getting ready to start. You're watching 7 Action News this morning. All right, welcome back. I have Matt Flynn and Jeff Bierma here. Well, you know when you see Matt Flynn that it is a party. We're talking about Whiskey Business. It's taking place in Royal Oak this weekend, and they're going to tell me more about it, as well as the finer points of Scotch. What is the difference between Scotch and whiskey and bourbon? I mean, you guys are like educated. You know these things.
So usually the region that they come from changes the water source, the grains that they use, and the typical kinds of barrels that they use. So all those kind of factors change the whole flavor profile of the whiskeys.
Now, Jeff, you know because you're with Ernest and Julio Gallo. Yeah,
so I'm a spirit specialist with them, so I sell all their liquor brands that they have.
And educate the public on the differences in many of the products. So what do you have here?
So we've got the Dalmore Scotch, which is a single malt Highland-style Scotch.
Made in Scotland.
Made in Scotland. We have Jura Scotch, which is also a Highland-style Scotch, but it's made in the Isle of Jura, which is a small little island with 200 people on it.
Okay.
And then we have John Barr Scotch, which is a blended whiskey, something similar to like Dewar's Johnny Walker, but even better.
So if anyone watching right now is not a fan or has not had much experience with Scotch, what are the differences in the flavors and the tones?
So the Dalmore is probably one of the easiest Scotches to drink because they started out in bourbon barrels and they finish it off in a 30-year-old Oloroso sherry cask. So you get a real nice, sweet, deep, rich fruit flavor out of that.
Okay.
Makes it very smooth.
Now, all of this, of course, all this information and knowledge can be obtained at Whiskey Business. It's taking place Farmers Market, Royal Oak?
Correct. This Saturday, Farmers Market. This is an opportunity for people to come out and they can't sample all 150, right, but there's 150 to select from where they can get up to 15 different samples of either trying it of a 1/4 ounce neat or they can try it in a 3-ounce mixed drink, and they can get educated because there'll be other brand ambassadors and spirit specialists like Jeff out there to answer questions and assist them along so they can go out and say, hey, I enjoy this and I want to go and buy it.
So your next favorite bottle, let's say, you may find it. You're probably going to come across it at this event coming up.
Correct. And our random act of kindness, besides bringing these products today, is that we're going to give all your viewers a $10 off using TV20 as a discount code when they go buy tickets.
So TV20 is a discount code, and you will get how much off?
$10 off.
$10 off. Okay. So as who's best benefited by attending this? Clearly, I'm a whiskey connoisseur. I like to consider myself. But what about people who are not as skilled in the art of drinking whiskey?
Well, that's what it's for, because the novice drinker can come out there and can try and sample and get into it. And there's a big trend. There's a lot of women drinking whiskey now. Yeah. We joke around. We're going to do a wine and whiskey event later, and we say he drinks the wine, she drinks the whiskey, because there's a huge turn. So it's an education, it's an opportunity to sample these brands and different types. We have honey-flavored whiskey. There's a lot of different in bourbon. So come out, get educated, and then you can decide. You can go later and purchase the stuff at many other stores.
Many of the fine retailers. So speaking of samples, you're going to make a drink for us today, Jeff.
Yeah, so we're going to do a twist on a classic cocktail, which is the Godfather, which is blended Scotch and amaretto. And then we're going to kick it up a notch with the twist here of doing chocolate bitters in there, so chocolate spice bitters. So depending on the Scotch you use, this ratio may be a little bit different, but we're going to do an ounce of Scotch in these. I'm going to make up 3 for everybody.
And now, these are fine Scotches, so, I mean, are these typically used in mixed drinks, or do you drink these neat, or I guess either way?
Blended Scotches are probably the only one you're going to want to do too many cocktails with.
Okay.
Some of these single malts, you put them in a glass and it's magic on its own. So you don't need to do anything else to it.
So you can create magic now at home.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful magic.
Naked magician, right?
We had those guys on this week.
I know, that's
we
why
had those
I was
guys
watching.
on. I wonder if that's why they're naked.
I'm sure.
Drinking a little Scotch.
All right, so we did 1 ounce of Scotch. We did ½ an ounce of amaretto, and we're going to put a little bit of chocolate bitters in here.
Okay.
I'm going to mix this up for you guys.
I think Keenan Smith is waiting in the wings here because he's a connoisseur of fine libation.
Thank you.
All right,
Oh,
guys.
you can really smell the chocolate. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, you can taste it as well. And not as bitter. If you are not a whiskey drinker, you may not have cultivated that taste, but this is not bitter at all. It's very smooth.
The amaretto balances it out, so that gives you some sweetness and some flavor to it. So you're tasting vanilla, you're tasting caramel, you're tasting, almond, you're tasting cherry, you're tasting chocolate. So this is a great balance of flavors.
You're tasting a good time. Keenan, what is the forecast going to be like? Is it anything like this?
Well, something, it's going to be a lot warmer this weekend, so, a nice cold beverage might not do you wrong.